Hi everyone and welcome back to Adventure Planet, where I'd like to start off by saying I hope you all had a great Christmas and a very happy new year. And today I thought I'd do something a little bit different outside of the usual vlogs and bring you a Hyperia construction update straight from Thorpe Park. Yeah, I was there earlier today, the 17th of January 2024, and decided to take a little stroll down Monk's Walk, which for those who don't know, it's a public footpath that kind of runs parallel to the park itself and it allows you to get some pretty good views, minus some trees and fencing, of their new roller coaster for 2024, Hyperia, which started off life as Project Exodus, which was officially granted planning permission all the way back in November of 2022. Now, this was the first time I've actually been down to see the construction for myself since it went vertical, and it would certainly appear that the layout is not too far from completion now. But first of all, I've got to say this thing is pretty huge. It completely dominates the skyline of the park. Soar and Colossus now really do look so small in comparison, and the tallest part of this ride hasn't even been installed yet. Unfortunately, construction of the lift hill still hasn't started, but I suspect that it will be going in pretty soon. It's crazy to see something like this taking shape at Thorpe Park, and it is pretty exciting. But a little bit about the coaster itself then. This will of course be Thorpe Park's newest coaster after the Swarm, which opened all the way back in 2012. So it's been a long time coming, this one, but it will be well worth the wait, seeing as it sets new records for the UK's tallest and fastest coaster at 236 feet and around 82 miles an hour respectively, taking the speed record from Thorpe Park's very own Stealth, which is about 80 miles an hour, and the height record from Blackpool Pleasure Beach's The Big One, which is 213 feet. Now, it's manufactured by German company Mack Rides, who have built some amazing coasters throughout the world, including my current number one, the Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland. It will feature two inversions, including a pretty huge dive stall element and this incredible twist element that you can see here, which is itself 165 feet tall and is an element that's not really been seen before, or certainly not at this scale at least. Now, I'm really intrigued to find out how that rides. I certainly don't think it's going to feel quite like anything I've ever done before, so I'm really looking forward to that. There's also a splashdown element to feature as well, which should also be great. My only remaining worry is, of course, the length. It's something I've said in previous vlogs, and I stand by it, that I think it will feel quite short. I think it is quite short, certainly considering the height, and therefore it may not have quite as many airtime moments as some of us would have been hoping for. However, the moments that it will have, certainly through some of those elements, should be pretty great. Now, what I certainly wasn't expecting that I saw today were the trim brakes that can be seen on this drop just before that outward bank twist style element. Now, as you can see, there's kind of four metal strips on that drop that leads into it. Now, trim brakes, essentially a safety feature that, if required, will slow the train down as it approaches possibly a bit of a wild element, to reduce wear and tear on the ride and to improve comfort and safety levels for the riders, obviously. Now, originally I understood there to be trim brakes only on the splashdown element of the ride, so seeing these was a little bit of a shock, if I'm being honest. How will this impact the ride? It's something we're not really going to know until we ride it ourselves. However, I hope it doesn't take too much away from it. Obviously, we'll trust that Mack Rides know what they're doing. There's clearly going to be, a speed restriction on approach to that twist. And, if the train's going too fast at that point, those trims will activate just to calm it down a little bit. Like I said, unexpected, but in all honesty, I'm really not too worried about it taking anything away from the ride itself. Here you can see the station where they were working today on the interior and also placing some cladding on the outside as well. A little cutout has gone into place for like a window, which I suspect will be where the ops cabin will be. And the stairs for the entrance to the ride are now starting to go into place there as well. Now, in this shot, you can see a piece of track getting lifted into place. This section here leads into one of the two inversions on the ride. This kind of runs parallel almost to the dive stall, which hasn't actually been completed yet. Now, the theming on this one is expected to be quite minimal around the layout itself, but I suspect there to be a bit more in and around the station, maybe some bits throughout the queue line and the general area, focusing on an Egyptian-style theme. It's all going to be very bright and positive, this one, with their slogan, "Find Your Fearless," trying to build up your confidence and making you believe that you can tackle this beast, as opposed to the usual dark and evil storylines that we usually get here for the big thrill coasters in the UK. So, yeah, it's nice to see something a little bit different with this. I do like the colour scheme. The white and gold looks quite good, although I would say that I would have preferred the colours to be, you know, nicely blended in rather than the sharp switch from the white to the gold on the track itself. But it still looks okay as it is. In terms of the soundtrack, it's being produced by Hyperia. You can hear that soundtrack actually on the official Hyperia POV video that was released by the park. Hyperia are an incredible company based in Germany, and they're actually the world's leading supplier of audio for theme parks. They produce soundtracks for some awesome rides around the world, including Taron, Fly, Phoenix, The Smiler, Voletarium, El Toro, the list goes on. And personally, I think they're fantastic. Now, there's no mention of whether the ride will include onboard audio yet, or maybe lift hill audio possibly. Not really sure. That's something that we'll have to wait for confirmation on at a later date. And yeah, there we are. That is the construction of Hyperia as of the 17th of January, what will be the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster. It really is coming along quite nicely now, which is great to see. And there are still some questions, the onboard audio, like I just touched on, how those trim brakes will act once testing has been completed, and also other things like, will there be a backwards-facing rear row? Now, we know that Mack Rides do offer that as an option, so you know, have the park gone with that? If they have, will it be an upcharge? You know, who knows? And finally, of course, the opening date for this one. Now, I have to say that going by the current state of construction, this certainly isn't going to be opening on day one of the season, which we know is March 24th. And I think most of us were, you know, pretty much aware of that. I would say this is looking more like the end of April, maybe May, possibly even June, depending on how the testing phase progresses. Now, I'm not sure if this is relevant in any way, but there's been no mention of a carnival event this year from the park, which usually takes place in July and August. So are they perhaps going to shift things around a bit and hold some kind of special Hyperia opening event instead of carnival this year? I'm not too sure. I mean, it seems unlikely. Who knows? It's all just speculation. I'm sure we'll have something official announced by the park very, very soon. So, what are you most looking forward to about this ride then? Are you going to be at Thorpe Park on day one to check out all the other changes, including Big Easy Boulevard and all the Sparkle Project updates? Let me know in the comments. I really would love to hear your thoughts. It's really not too much longer now until the new season starts here in the UK. So until then, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. And as always, happy riding. I'll see you in the next video.